Hello, my name is Rupert Hoogewerf and I'm the Chairman and Chief Researcher of the Hurun Report. And today I'm delighted to give you a brief introduction to the latest China Wealth Report, whereby we list out how many high net worth families there are in China and what the change is year in, year out, and also which cities they come from. So it's a pretty comprehensive report, takes us quite a lot of months to put together as well. I'd like to especially say thank you to our partner Tsai, a wealth management company based in Qingdao. And today we're delighted to be putting out the 2022 Tsai Hurun China Wealth Report. Now, what's special about this report and why is it worthy of your attention? I think a few things. First is that we actually split the sort of wealthy families in China into 4 different levels. So you have the entry level, which is those who've got the equivalent of, roughly speaking, about $1 million US dollars, actually a bit less, 6 million renminbi. We call them the affluent households. And the next one up is those who've got 10 million renminbi, which is about 1.5 million US dollars. We call them the high net worth households. Then you've got the next level up, which is next tier, which is the 100 million renminbi, 50 million US dollars of wealth. And that's the ultra high net worth individuals. And then you have the international ultra high net worth individuals, those who got the equivalent of 30 million US dollars. We don't just look at the total wealth numbers. We actually also look at their investable assets numbers. And this is very significant because if you're a financial business, then you're probably most interested in the number of individuals that there are in China with investable assets of, say, 1 million or 10 million, whatever the number is. The total wealth includes the stuff, the wealth that you like your house that you live in, you can't sell it really, and maybe the shares of your companies that you own that, again, not easily sellable. So total wealth gives you a very good indication of the overall confidence of these families. If your house has gone up a lot, then you're more confident, you've got the spare change, you're more likely to spend it. And this is particularly of interest to luxury brands or any brands or service providers who sell to, call them the affluent or the wealthy classes in China. And the investable assets, of course, is most interested to wealth management companies, banks, and people like that. So that's sort of the 2 different numbers that we have. Now, this year, the trends, as actually surprisingly, has gone up. And I say this year, I mean the year ending 2022, 1st of January. So the year up to that. We found that there are affluent households in China to the tune of 5.2 million households. That was up about 100,000 households year in, year out, 2.1%. That might surprise a lot of people because 2021 was a pretty difficult year in many ways. But the stock markets in China, especially in Shanghai and Shenzhen, went up on average by about 5%. Some of the sort of more innovative stock markets went up by or stock markets with more innovative companies, went up by 12%. And real estate also in some of the first tier cities went up by, very significantly actually, by 20, 30, 40% in some cases. So high-end real estate and stock markets have gone up. That means that the overall number of affluent families has also gone up to as I say, total wealth with about $1 million US dollars has gone to 5.2 million households. Wow. Now, where did the growth sort of end up at? Well, it was Shanghai, Beijing, and then the provinces of Guangdong and Zhejiang. These 4 places made up 60% of the 100,000 new households, affluent households in the country. Again, pretty significant numbers there. The report also looks at some of the investable trends that they have and some of the spending trends. We've got that all in this report. And one thing I think is particularly worthy of your attention is that over the next 10 years, we've looked at, we found that there are 19 trillion renminbi worth of renminbi, which is just under 3 trillion US dollars, if you like, a bit less, will pass from first generation to second generation. Over the next 21 years, no, it's 20 years, it's going to have 51 trillion RMB, which if you work out, about 7 trillion US dollars equivalent, is going to pass from first generation to second generation. And over the next 30 years, it's 98 trillion RMB, which is about 15 trillion US dollars, give or take, which is going to pass from generation 1 to generation 2, which is actually an incredible time, really, because when that much wealth passes from one generation to the next, how does the next generation take on the responsibility of that, and so on. These are all questions to be answered. I suppose in the end, I'm just going to sort of summarize, where do these high affluent or wealthy families live? It's really in China today. It's 3 + 2 + 2 cities. So Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, they're the big three. The +2 are Shenzhen and Hangzhou and Guangzhou. And then the next +2 are Hangzhou and Ningbo. So those are the 7 cities with the highest concentration of wealthy families. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you can draw some inspiration from this report. And thank you again to our partners, Tsai. And I hope that you can perhaps use this report to have a better strategy on how to understand these high net worth families. Because clearly we do the China rich list, and we've been doing that for 20 odd years. But those people are right at the top. They're all individuals with many hundreds of millions of US dollars. Whereas this is sort of gives a broader perspective of where these wealthy families sort of choose to live, and the trends that we're also seeing by cities. So we've covered 76 cities in every province. It's a pretty major report. Thank you very much for watching, and do keep feeding us your opinions. It'd be a pleasure to answer them. Bye-bye.